Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Jay has the evening off. The story surrounding theft, gunshots, and a high-speed chase through Billings Monday night now getting even more complicated. Ryan McElmurray, the Wyoming man accused in a string of crimes Monday night, described as 50 minutes of carnage, makes his first appearance in court today. And tonight, new video of just one of those crime scenes as the suspect literally drives a stolen vehicle through a business. Now, before she was done, the judge set McElmurray's bond at $1 million. Q2's Samantha Sullivan was in the courtroom this afternoon and has the latest on the charges and now more drama surrounding this case. Sammy.
Jeanelle, 10 crime scenes, 5 car thefts, and an hour of chaos in Billings results in 12 felony charges for Ryan McElmurray. He is charged with counts of robbery with a weapons enhancement, aggravated burglary, assault with a weapon, criminal endangerment, and felony theft. During the chase Monday night, shots were fired by officers and likely by the suspect as well. Homes were broken into, cars were stolen, and multiple people were held at gunpoint. But more drama in court today. Billings and Missoula are both part of a new pilot program through the state where information about offenders and their crimes is put into a computer and a recommendation to the judge on punishment is issued. In this case, the suggestion was that McElmurray was only a level 1 passive threat and he should be released on his own recognizance. The judge disagreed.
I sincerely hope that this is a mistake as well. If not, this is completely unacceptable. In fact, it's appalling that the individuals who presumably have the best information to assess an offender's risk would recommend a release of OR in a case like this. So I am going to deviate from the PSA that was prepared in this matter as wholly inaccurate and inappropriate.
Jeanelle, now as you mentioned, bond was set at $1 million today. McElmurray is set to appear in court again next week.
All right, thanks so much, Samantha. Now a closer look at some of the crime scenes unfolding. This surveillance video captured in the area of 350 South Billings Boulevard shows the suspect first shooting out a window and then climbing through it into the warehouse. And about 1 minute later, as police arrive on scene to search the area, you can see a Ford truck in the back there bust through a garage door, back out, and take off. Now, for specific details on this string of crimes, you can head to KTVQ.com. A Billings man who died this morning after he crashed his Lamborghini into a parked semi-truck is now identified. Authorities say 68-year-old Jim McCall was traveling at a high rate of speed when his green Lamborghini slammed into a power pole and the semi. This was the scene just before 8 o'clock this morning on King Avenue West near South 18th Street. After fire crews extricated McCall from the car, he was rushed to the hospital where he died a short time later. The 32-year-old driver of the semi was asleep inside the cab when the sports car crashed into him. The semi driver was not injured. A massive cleanup now underway in Columbus after a coal train derailed late last night. But despite the spill, trains are still moving across Montana tonight. Take a look as crews collapse train cars into rubble, separating the coal in the process. Now this, according to officials with Montana Rail Link, is how crews clean up the mess. It happened last night around 11 o'clock when about 40 cars derailed. No roads are closed and trains are now being rerouted on the High Line. As for the environmental concerns, some coal has spilled into the stream of the Yellowstone River.
We call in our environmental contractor, Olympus, and they come in and they do environmental remediation to be able to ensure that no additional coal is getting into the waterway so that we can get through our cleanup process and also clean up any of the coal that may have entered into the water.
And we're told the cleanup should last until sometime Thursday. As for what caused the derailment, MRL officials say they just don't know yet. A massive 50,000-acre fire burning south of Jackson Hole, Wyoming has now destroyed at least 22 homes, and crews say there are at least 100 more they need to check on. The Roosevelt fire started on September 15th. Families in Bondurant, Wyoming have been evacuated for at least a week, and for the ranching community, many will not have ranches to return to. The fire is burning south of the Teton National Forest. Highways surrounding the fire are also closed. Now, right now, the Roosevelt fire is 30% contained, but its cause still unknown. There are nearly 1,000 people assigned to that blaze. A GoFundMe account has been set up to help residents in the evacuated and ravaged areas. That account says many of Bondurant's residents are underinsured or uninsured. The Roberts basketball coach, who allegedly kissed a 15-year-old female student multiple times, has turned in his resignation. Superintendent Alex Ader says the school board will accept that resignation at a meeting tonight. John Payovich wrote to the board in a letter dated Tuesday, September 25th. It states that his resignation is in the best interest of the Roberts High School and his family. In August, the Carbon County Attorney's Office charged Payovich with endangering the welfare of a child. Superintendent Ader tells Q2 the resignation allows students and the community to move on. One of the top races on the Montana ballot this year is the contest for the state's only U.S. House seat. MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison is giving us a closer look this week at the candidates in this statewide race. Today, he focuses on Democratic challenger Kathleen Williams.
Kathleen Williams won a close, somewhat unexpected victory in a six-way primary in June to become the Democratic nominee against Republican incumbent Greg Gianforte. Now, Williams hopes to spring another upset in a race that Democrats haven't won in 24 years. The former state legislator from Bozeman says her experience in working across the political aisle on a full range of issues is what voters are looking for.
I think it's the right time for the right candidate. I think it's a combination of the experience, the temperament, the policies that I'm talking about, and the proposals, and the contrast of those with our current representative.
As a state lawmaker, Williams sponsored bills that led to insurers covering the cost of cancer patients undergoing clinical trials, and to enable more local retail food producers.
My approach has always been to talk to as many people that I am going to be representing as possible and get a sense of what they care about, what they're concerned about, and then roll up my sleeves and go get things done.
The 57-year-old Williams grew up in California and moved to Montana in the mid-1990s. She has degrees in resource and recreation management and most recently worked as associate director for a nonprofit group of conservation-minded farmers and ranchers in the West. On the campaign trail, Williams has been traveling the state, visiting towns large and small, and talking a lot about health care. She wants to build on the Affordable Care Act by bolstering the private individual health insurance market and expanding Medicare, and says Gianforte and the Republicans just want to tear it down.
He used to talk about repeal and replace, but there's just nothing that's coming forward to replace. I think we need to fix the system, not just pick it apart bone by bone.
When asked if she supports President Trump and his agenda, Williams says she'll work with Trump on things like bringing businesses back from overseas, but that she's running against Gianforte, not the president. We also have a third candidate in this race, Libertarian Eleanor Swanson, a lawyer from Billings. We'll tell you more about her tomorrow. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. Now, the three candidates for the U.S. House seat will square off in their first public debate this Saturday evening. That debate televised live on MTN stations across the state. Some sad news from Zoo Montana tonight. One of its most unique residents has passed away. JT the Takin passed away from heart failure. The zoo's executive director, Jeff Ewelt, shared the news and this photo on his Facebook page last night. He described JT as one of the gentlest, most easygoing animals he's ever known. The zoo opened its Takin exhibit in 2016, where JT lived with fellow younger Takin, Khan. Zoo Montana says JT arrived at the zoo to live out his late years, but they wish it could have been a bit longer. Coming up on tonight's 5:30 News, it's a new dress on an old program. Here in the Magic City, we'll show you how it's helping women even more. And in sports, Scott chats with this Billings grandmother, 71 years old, and just named National State Games Female Athlete of the Year.
And coming up in weather, the cloudy skies are rolling in tonight. Later tomorrow, the rain moves in, and then after that, snow. We'll chat about it coming up in a few more minutes.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.